Hey guys, so thank you so much for purchasing my Money Mastery for Her budget. It is truly the first step in your financial freedom journey. So, yay! On this short video, I'm going to teach you how easy it is to actually utilize and use your budget and how to understand the different concepts and everything of all the different papers so that you don't get overwhelmed and just forget about it. And that's one of the main issues with finances these days is people get overwhelmed and they just don't understand and then they just throw it on the back burner and think I'll do it another time and it never gets done. So that is why I am doing this video for you to accompany my pages. So let's get started with five basic spending areas. So your net worth, that's going to be your mortgage, car loans, credit cards, savings accounts, pretty much everything that's a positive effect on your net worth as a person when paid into. So set expenses, that's going to be like your bills. So rent or mortgage, taxes, insurance, internet, electric bills, stuff like that. Food, that's the biggest spending area that we can do. I don't know about you, but if I go to the grocery store and I'm hungry, it's game over because I am spending way more than my budget for food if I am hungry when I go to the grocery store. But, also, if I go to the grocery store when I'm full and not hungry at all, then I don't buy anything. So, kind of that finding the middle road right there. Stock room is going to be stuff that you need for like your house. So your toilet paper, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, stuff that, I mean, you can live without, but it's probably best you don't live without it. So, I mean, it's again another expense. And discretionary, that's everything else. So, fun times, personal spending, the overspending, typically that you look at and you're like, why did I spend this? Why did I buy this? If you have listened to me before in the past, I talk about how I used to be the biggest sucker for as seen on TV stuff. I even bought that stupid shake weight back in the day. So that would fall into discretionary. So when it comes to overspending, most of the stuff we overspend in is going to be that food and the discretionary area. Again, shake weight. Who needed that? Who else bought it? Because I don't think I met anyone else who actually bought a shake weight. But then that brings us into the next page. So this is for when you can just kind of jot down spent expenses and what you have spent and then just total it so you get kind of an overall thought and like seeing it and all that. So this one's real simple. Same with this one for the most part. So you take what you spend like between the net worth and set expenses and food and discretionary and stock room. You put all of those there for the month and total it, and that will give you an overall estimate and showing you what you are spending in a month. I mean, that should be a total that is less than what you make, but a lot of people, that's not the case, unfortunately. So then that gets us into the weekly budget. So you take that food budget from before for the monthly and you put it based on the week. So, I mean, you obviously, if you have a food budget of 400 a month, then you want to make sure that the food budget right here for a week is only 100. And then you can dispense that throughout the week. And same with the others. It's pretty easy. And then this is going to be you write down your bill and the due date that it is due on and the minimum amount, which we get into paying the minimum versus more. each month. And then, or not each month, but we get into that further in my actual course. But for now, you just put a check when you pay the bill that's listed over here. If you or if you pay it in January, we're now in February. If you have paid it in February, you'd put a check here going all the way down for the bills that you paid. And then this is where we talk about goals. So, again, if you follow me on my vlog that I just started, or if you've followed me for the last year, I talk about you can't know where you're going without a plan, and you need a goal to be able to make that plan. And I mean, if you don't have a goal, how do you know where you want to end up? So, this is where you want to write down all your goals. So, say you have a large goal of buying your house, you would write buy a house here, and then you would write the steps needed for the foundation of achieving it. So, you might want to put like, I mean, you don't need this much anymore, but 20% down and calculate how much that would be. Or another goal for buying a house is talk to a lender or talk to a real estate person. I mean, those all seem like something that would be more towards the end of buying a house, but it's not. When you want to buy a house, you have to get those steps in to know how to get there. If you don't know how to do something, I mean, you don't know how to do it. So you need to learn how to do it in order to get it done. So on to the next one of SMART goals. Going back to goals. So if you don't know what a SMART goal is, the S is for specific. So instead of saying, I want to make $10,000 this month, well, I guess actually that would be the specific. Non-specific is I want to make more money this month. So specific is I want to make $10,000 this month. Measurable. Well, if you don't make it this month, well, then it's measurable because you want to have a specific time. And that goes down into timely too. If you're like, well, my SMART goal, I don't want to accomplish it for 5 years. Okay, that's fine. But, usually you want to do it in a timely manner. So is $10,000 a month achievable? Well, if you're making $16 an hour at McDonald's, I am going to say no because there are only 24 hours in a day and you literally could not work enough if you are getting paid hourly to make $10,000 a month. I'm sorry, not happening. If you're making minimum wage, but and also that plays into the next, which is realistic. Is it realistic to make $10,000 a month? Well, again, if you're making minimum wage working at McDonald's, it's not very realistic. So you'd put the goal of $10,000 in however long, and the cost of it, even though there's a dollar sign here, it doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary cost. It could be time. I mean, you're putting effort in either to learn a new skill or, just, yeah. So then date achieved. What date do you want to have it achieved by? And you could do a slash and the date that you actually did achieve it by. So, I mean, both of those play into how you get about achieving your goals. I mean, you want to have a deadline. Because, I mean, if you don't, then, you can just procrastinate forever and it'll never happen. And then we get on to this one. This one, I'm not going to go over a whole lot because, I mean, it is very self-explanatory. You literally just put in the numbers and the account numbers. And, I mean, no one's going to see this other than you. So, but at the same time, you don't want someone getting a hold of this if you put account numbers. You could just put like for retirement account, put Roth IRA or solo 401k or 403b or just anything like that. You don't need to put the actual account number. So, and then last but not least, we do the debts and just again, like your debt. So that could be your car, the interest rate that your car note is, minimum payment, payment total start. So that'd be like what you bought it at, and if you're paying it off. So, and again, like I said, minimum payments, you want to do more than the minimum payment. But I mean, obviously, if you can't, you want to choose either the snowball method or the avalanche method to get those credit cards and other debts paid down quicker. So this is a good page to actually have printed off for the debt thermometer because you can literally fill it in and visually see as you are done filling up the debt thermometer with how much you are paying off. So that is, in essence, my easy to do budget. And I hope that this has been beneficial to you and that my budget plan is beneficial to you. And I know it's very expensive and it can be a headache, but I promise if you stick with it and just keep going, that it does get easier. And I mean, in the beginning, you need to write all of this down, but eventually you just kind of start getting to know where you're at and habits form. And once you start forming habits in the good way, then you don't have to worry as much. There's not as much stress, the consistency of paying off the debt and budgeting. And as so many people think that budgets are restrictive, but they're really not. Like, I mean, you can always edit your budget and do however much you want to allocate to different certain things. But at the same time, if you're constantly running out of money at the end of the month or end of the pay period, I feel like that is more stress than having a budget and having it be that little bit of restrictive on you. And when you learn the good habits to follow, then you will learn that it is so much less stress. And with that, my financial wealth warriors, I will leave you to it and best wishes and continue following me. And I can't wait to hear how wonderful it is for you when you start seeing how good this budget is for you. And with that, I am saying goodbye.